Noa Diergina out of the Netherlands, and the big question, does she have a second run planned after completing the run that she wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, she stacked so many big moves in there. I'm just curious to see what she's got. Looks like she's gonna set up on the other bar there. Getting a big swing. She get nice little flyaway dismount. Tacking over the gap. It's good she has a lot in the bank. I know she practiced a ton of things she cut out of her first run, so maybe she saved them up for this finals here. A lot of vaults right now, getting herself in a position. Stomping that double A-twist, good 540. Nice vault here, coming over into position. Stealing some moves from Miranda Tibbling there. Good back full off of that. Getting into position. Jumping a little spring bake air over the boat gap. All right, and making her way down with a little Webster into the final platform. Well, I think our question was answered there. Yeah. I don't think she had the anticipation of being this run, but she definitely had fun with what she was doing.
But extra points for, as you pointed out, the spring break air. Definitely finding the fun flow here in the finals for Noa Diergina.
So you can see her setting up for that flyaway. I know she's done dub fly in the past. I think probably this setup was just a little bit too sketchy. It's very hard to get a big swing on that backswing because there's a railing right there, which you can't really see right now, but it is very tight. And I think, you know, at this point, she's already thrown down probably a lot more to prove, but she still stomped out that double A-twist so clean. Very, very nice. And here coming across the box, clean, lazy vault down, dropping onto that mini platform. Just having fun with it, making her way around the course. Obviously not looking for another high level of difficulty, but she did all of her moves. She's got that very clean 360 back right there. And the camera guys can't even keep up with how quick she's moving across here. Very fun jump. You can tell how much fun she's having. She's just loving life right now, and she absolutely deserves it. She should be having the time of her life. I mean, 16 years old on the biggest stage in the sport, and she's just making history each step of the way.
Channeling a little Wayne Wong there with the back scratcher, but nonetheless, all smiles as she is our women's champion here at the 2021 Red Bull Art of Motion. Scores coming in a 309 as we set it down dockside.
For the big final.
Noa, okay, the only female to make it into the final. You must be so pleased with your performance. How did your second run play out?
I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I didn't have a second run, so I just freestyle, but I love it, so yeah.
What an amazing performance anyway. You should be so pleased with your performance. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. What the fuck?
Oh, justifiably winded, and as predicted, you know. I mean, I think that says it all. I mean, I think she came with reasonable expectations, but you can count on the next time she shows up at a Red Bull Art of Motion, she'll have that second run planned.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, there was such a stacked final heat. Each heat in the starting round was amazing. How could anybody know what's going to happen here?
Here we go. Bob Reese on his final run. What else does he have in store?
Ooh, look at that pop side, palm spin. Little 360 card down onto the toe, up to that cat. Grabbing the chair. Flipping the chair and stomping the camera. And he does a wall flip. Very sketchy setup. And another sketch setup for that gainer off of the beam. You saw he had his hand up on the ledge. Palm drop down, putting his hands down there. I know he doesn't like to do that. Looking a little bit more wild on this run. I wonder if he just didn't practice this one quite as much as his first heat run, and he's calling it.
So a little switch up for Reese the Beast. Definitely some things that we didn't see as our first competitor into the drink. A chance to cool off because his free running endeavors are done for the day. Good for him. So chance to go in and enjoy the party.
All right, you see this dismount, little gainer, 9 390 over the gap. It's cool. Pop side. Palm flip on that little ledge. Spinning cartwheel down. Back up onto the bar for this toe shoot, cat leap up. Make it look like, I think he went up to crane there on the little ledge. Just a tight little ledge he made his way up onto. That's what his fingers look like on that flyaway. And you see he grabbed this chair, having a great time. Bob always loves to use props. If you saw his submission tape, he slid into a backflip on a shirt. Popped the camera real quick. I'm sure the camera guy wasn't too happy about it, but the fans loved it. Look at this funky setup for that gainer. You see one hand on the ledge, one foot on that beam. Very difficult way to set this up. Through into one of those weird dismounts that only Bob Reese can really pull off.
Unapologetically inventive. Fair to say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why this kid is absolutely blown up on TikTok. You got to give him a follow. He's got some of the funniest videos out there. Always having a good time. But definitely a little bit more wild. I would say he saved his strategy for the first run and had more fun on his second.
Yeah, and you know what? It paid dividends in that in his first heat run. It just in terms of taking that strategic approach, because he has all the tricks, the repertoire. And sometimes taking that lighthearted approach, which we see there, is the best thing to do. But when you're in the finals, I'll tell you what, we can expect some serious runs being thrown down with our next three competitors. Or four.
I hope he saved an extra pair of shoes for the after party, because he is soaking wet, but probably the coolest competitor on the course right now.
372 for Bob Reese.
So that puts him in the top spot for now. I'm feeling it's likely that score won't stand up, but you never know what these athletes are going to pull off and how it's going to play out for them.
The steely focus of Ed Scott. Just one of the most intense competitors. We talk about that gymnastics background, but he makes it free running. Very focused. And watch.
Top wall inward right there, getting his toes on. Nice toe on front, stomps the landing, tacks back to the off the bar and up the wall. Palm flip, drop down into the gap. Let's see what he sets up here. Nice side flip precision, turns it into a little butt spin off the wall. Looks like he had planned a little safety there. Nice Kong gainer, steezed out back full off the ledge. Oh, Kong dive roll onto the block. Great Lukaku over the gap and back up. Cork double leg down.
Wow.
All right.
So definitely brought a little more, and then there was a slight bobble here and there. But what do you make of his final run?
Well, I know, Ed Scott made it through to the finals in Santorini Red Bull Art of Motion, runner-up in Matera, and I know more than anything he wants that top spot here. We'll see if it's enough. I mean, look at this toe on front, just toe shoot front, just stomping out that landing. I mean, he covered every inch of this course. He switched up, nothing was repeated. Palm drop there into the gap, and he used this full run up from the entire thing just to give himself enough power for this massive side flip precision. Looks like he just undershot it a little bit, but he turned it into a nice vault. I think Ed usually somebody who hits things super clean, like that Kong gainer he stomps out right here. But I think he's not one we usually see having to fix his moves with extra flow like a Didi. He's usually hitting stuff exactly how he wants to, but I think, he's pushed a lot in this course to find his creativity, to find ways to put his moves all over the course and really put together a run for this spot.
Safe to say, too, this course has really forced the hand of competitors to find that creativity, even if it's not there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, that's something that he's been dinged on by the judges in the past, but I think he really played smartly with now. I'm interested to see how they judge this run. You can see him using every inch of that bar right there as he takes off, literally feet to the edge of the wall.
And inches separating on
see
each.
The bar spinning a little bit as he's coming on. I don't even know. I think that might have been a little extra level of difficulty there.
Reese sitting on a 372, but it's all about who finds that top spot and holds on to it as we wind down here in the finals 2021. Red Bull Art of Motion here in Athens, Greece.
Definitely a lower execution score than we usually see from Ed.
405. We have a new leader. Can the 405 stick with a serious list of contenders? Defending champ Didi Alawi, Christian Kowaleski, and Archie Arroyan. All three of those competitors can put down runs well within the 400 plus zone.
Yeah, I mean, any of these guys could come out on top now. I mean, Archie, this course was made for. Didi wants it more than anybody. And Christian has what it takes to put it together on at the top spot. But Ed with a great run, sitting in a well-deserved top spot right now. But defending champion Didi Alawi up next. I mean,
what does he need to do to find it? He squeaked out with the 401. What does he need to do in this final run?
I know that for his first move, he has something really massive planned. This could be a best trick right here, right now. It all comes up. Is he going to stomp it?
Watch. Eyes focused on the bank wall. Watch his track in. Here we go. Defending champ. Didi on his final run. He's on course.
Oh! A tough landing for Didi. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. He's calling it right now. Wow. Very unexpected from Didi. I mean, I've seen him stomp that move out. It is incredibly difficult setup. He went for it. Absolute commitment. Just a little bit too close to the wall, catching his feet. We'll see the replay right now. Look at him set up super high, but a little bit too close to the wall. Maybe opened up just a hair too soon, slipped off his shins or something. But yeah, crashing into the wall, and he's just gonna call it, save himself right now. Yeah, apologies for a little bit of language there, but when you're an athlete like Didi, you're going so hard 100% of the time. He wanted that so badly.
Just didn't get the pop out. And you saw there, obviously, disappointment for our defending champ. No chance to go back-to-back for Didi Alawi, which means we'll move on to our next competitors.
I mean, obviously for Didi, it was all or nothing. As soon as he knew he wasn't going to take the top spot, he's ready to sit down and rest. I know his body's been through a lot. You know, over the last year, he was recovering from pretty bad injury. He focused just basically on strength and conditioning training, trying to get himself into what is now the best shape of his life. But he really hasn't been able to focus on his technique as much. He hasn't been able to drill a lot of new moves, so he was going from the vault, seeing what he had, and he pulled out one of the hardest moves, I mean, in the sport. That wall inward side is just absolutely insane, and to hit it here in that spot is just unbelievable, and wasn't able to pull it out this time, but I'm sure we're going to see him back again.
Trying to shake it off, Kowaleski gets ready for his final run. Our second to last competitor to decide who takes top honors here. Here we go.
Ooh, look at that seated dash to splat back. That is the first time anyone has ever hit that, much less in competition. Nice setting up for that really sick cast back in that tight little spot. Already a masterful run from Christian Kowaleski. Cast con gainer, oh my God, he is destroying this run right now. 360 dive roll over the gap. Banger right now. Wow. This is the run we expected to see from Christian.
Wow.
Amazing.
Kowaleski coming in like a Cat 5 hurricane on that run. And you can see visibly elated.
I mean, I could barely keep up with it because he was just blasting through that. I mean, he started off his run with a move that has never been done by any other person, much less in competition. So he just started all in, all out, straight from the top.
The tidal surge started
Look at how
right
close
here.
he is to the bar. He's got zero room, and then steps up. Very nice 360 back, so close to the wall, and then this cast back on such a tight ledge with no room for error, making his way onto this top platform. I mean, every inch of this he covered. making his way with a nice little Webster in a position to send himself up for what is one of the hardest moves in the sport right now, the cast Kong Gainer. Meaning he's doing Kong Gainer off of his hands, no feet right there, just all the way through, absolutely insane, and stomps it out. I mean, I always expect to see Christian really clean. I expect to see him stomp it, but he was just so smooth and so smart, kept it really smooth, streamlined, short, but every inch of this. Look at his across the boat gap, huge 360 dive roll, little Peter Pan handhold there, you know. And look, if he went even an inch farther, he'd have been off the boat, but he didn't stumble even a little bit there. So clean, opens up at the right moment, using a rope to make his way through, and just calls it right there. Cheering for the crowd, because that crowd is cheering for him, as they should be.
Look it up in a book. That is textbook clutch right there. Christian Kowaleski goes clutch on his final run. Let's see where the numbers land.
I mean, I can tell you, we're looking at a massive score here.
85 for execution. Score dropping there. Remember, judges looking for creativity, difficulty, flow, overall impression, and that execution, that's going to bode well. We talk about wanting to be in the 80s and above out of a possible 500. 413, so we have a new leader. Wow. So boding well with just one more competitor to go. So Kowaleski guaranteed a spot on the podium. Ed Scott as well. The big question, can Bob Reese hold on to that third spot? One last competitor will decide the tale, and that is Archie Aroyan out of Russia.
And if any man in the sport right now could push Christian out of place, it would be Archie. I mean, he's got the tricks in his bag. They're in his pocket. He just has to put it out there and pull them.
And does this bode well for him? The long lines, that fluid approach that he likes.
I mean, he's got everything it takes. I mean, if he doesn't need to do every single move. He doesn't need a lot of filler. We're talking meat and potatoes right here. He's got it in his capabilities, well within his potential. It just matters, is he gonna pull it?
Score to beat right now, 413.
All right, skipping that front section again. Look at that 360 cart out of there. Little funky move here. That's that pistol gainer down. Nice setup. Pushing himself on these two boxes. Again with that shotgun double. Making his way back up onto this platform. He is loving this setup. Let's see if he goes for the scoot. Double full right there. Aerial out. Making his way across the boats. A lot of flow right now. Hitting everything very clean though. Nice roll up. Little steezy palm flip to finish things off.
That is going to do it for Archie Aroyan. Will he find the top spot? As mentioned, score to beat a 413. Both interesting runs, but both very different runs, different approaches. We talk about that, taking that signature approach, taking your own approach in free running, and it's so great to see the varying styles of all these competitors.
Yeah, a completely different mentality. You can see he hit probably twice, maybe even 3 times as many moves as Christian Kowaleski, but moved around the same part of the course a lot. Very interesting, he chose to skip the front end of the boat. I think if he was going to set up like he did the last run with something very hard at the beginning, I would have understood that a little bit better. But he chose to sort of miss out on a whole section where I felt like he had a lot to play with, and also skipped some of his harder moves there. Again, I think the judges are going to be a little disappointed with that, but he landed everything he did really cleanly. That's very, very smart. As a competitor, he knows how to place really well in these competitions. He's won plenty of international comps in the past, but he's never come out on top of Red Bull Art of Motion yet. Is this going to be the one for Archie?
You've often gone on record, you said that he often can play it safe, that he needs to bring out the bangers, the big tricks that he has. Did he do that?
Well, there's definitely some tough ones, like this pistol double right there. I mean, that side flip right there can easily land you right flat on your back, but he pulls it out well. He's able to flow out of it. He's very, very stylish with those connections, and you can see how much he just slides into place with each move and pulling those doubles like nothing, so he can even pop out into an aerial right out of it. I mean, I know that we love to see those triples. We love to see his bigger stuff, but when you're hitting it as clean as Archie, then You know, sometimes you just don't need it, and that's what Christian did in terms of his amount of moves, but Archie did it with the difficulty of those moves. The judges like both of those things. We'll just see who they reward in the end.
And where do you think he flourished in terms of creativity, difficulty, flow, execution, or overall performance?
I mean, his flow and execution were fantastic, and that's definitely something he's known for. Without a doubt, he maximizes on those in a way that other athletes should definitely take note of. I mean, it's a signature of many, many top finishers in the past.
We started with 18 athletes. We whittled it down to 6, and there can only be one 2021 Red Bull Art of Motion champion. Will it be enough for Archie Arroyan to better the 4:13? Christian Koleski holding on to the top spot. Behind him, Ed Scott and Bob Reese in third for the moment. But we expect some shuffling. As you can see, the face says it all. Waiting for those numbers to drop.
Yeah, it all comes down to this. I mean, what more could we ask for than the final run of the day being one of the top seeded athletes against one of the favorites? It's just everything that you want from a Red Bull Art of Motion, and it's all happening here and now.
Archie Arroyan, years of dedication, months leading up, coming to the competition here in Greece after the shutdown. You can feel the energy, the atmosphere right now as numbers dropping. 4:03, it is not enough. Christian Koleski is your 2021 Red Bull Art of Champion. Red Bull Art of Motion champion right there, Christian Koleski.
I mean, you couldn't ask for a better guy to go away with the win. I mean, he has been battling it out, injury after injury, dealing with personal struggles over the years, finally makes it to the top. You know, just became a Red Bull sponsored athlete. It gave him the opportunity to focus on his training. He's been dominating it, just pushing it harder and harder, getting himself into the position he needed to. You know, he took it smart and safe. He rested every time he needed to, and here he is coming out on top.
And unfortunately, you can see that visible disappointment from Archie Arroyan there. Bittersweet finish for Ed Scott. It's his second time he's found that second place finish at a Red Bull Art of Motion, but nonetheless, he finds himself on the podium. So all three competitors holding their heads up high. Archie Arroyan rounding out the top three, followed by Ed Scott in second, and Christian Koleski, his first ever Red Bull Art of Motion champion title. What a day of free running, and such a creative display on the two boats.
Yeah, I mean, the energy coming from these athletes over the week here in training, I think each of them was really kind of skeptical coming into this. What kind of competition are we coming into? How hard is it going to be? This is literally, you know, what some would consider the most challenging setup. Everything's moving, everything's slanted, it's tight spaces, it's potential for falling off the edge, wet hands, wet feet, wet shoes, but they pushed through. They actually ended up loving this course, finding everything they could do there that was just unbelievable to watch them just pour over every inch of this course and find what could be done here, and they really did it. And athletes like Christian, I mean, they did exactly what they needed to do. They made the most out of this incredibly difficult situation, and they did something incredibly, and turned it into magic.
And you know, just admittedly, there was some trepidation. How are the athletes going to approach this? And like you said, it's testament to their open eye, creative approach that they can adapt. I mean, they're so adaptable, and that's at the essence of free running, of adapting to an environment and finding lines that no one sees lines.
And you know what I love about this? We talk about how a course like this really levels the playing field, and it creates opportunities for everyone to shine in different ways. So we're seeing veteran athletes who've always been up there but haven't made it through, like Christian Koleski coming on top, but also look at the next generation, these young female athletes, Lilu, Elise, and now Noah, shining to the point where we're seeing them coming through into the finals. This is the future of the sport right here in front of us.
No surprise there with the double cork. We've seen it before. Lilu Ruel grabs best trick for the women.
Yeah, this is the first time we've had a best female category for the best trick, and it's well deserved because she's been killing it. Look at this 720 cork right here, just such a tight spot, so low. I mean, I think this is several feet lower than she hit it in the last Red Bull Art of Motion, and she stomps it out here, even better landing. So focused, you can tell that training has been paying off for her. A very well-deserved female best trick for Lilu out of France.
So, as you can see, the fans have been treated to quite the display of free running throughout the afternoon, as we'll continue to hand out the hardware here
Great
in the
Britain's-
port of Microlamano.
Yeah, Great Britain's Elise Bickley looking very proud of that third place finish. She should be very happy with herself. She hit all the moves she wanted to. She was clean, she was strong and safe. And our best trick winner, Li Lu, picking up that second place finish. I mean, these athletes have actually come up, you know, they're from all over the world, but they're constantly in communication online. They're showing up at these competitions. It's become such a cool place for them to bond and grow together over the years. And I'm just so grateful. I know they're also grateful for these chances to come together at competitions like Red Bull Art of Motion.
And there is your 2021 Red Bull Art of Motion female champion, Noah Diorgina. And extra congratulations for her. Moving on to the finals as we look at our top 3 women competitors.
This right here is the next generation. I'm telling you, we're going to see a lot more from all 3 of these young women coming up. I can't wait to see how they're going to continue to break ground on this sport and take it to the next level.
And we were making conversation about it earlier, how cool it is too that the women and the men compete on the same course, at the same time. And it just fuels the progression.
I've said it year after year. This is something where we're going to see more and more women making it to the finals, competing in this overall. But I'm so glad to see Christian Kowaleski picking up that best trick spot, very well deserved, stomping out that cast gainer.
Please, just for the people watching all over the world right now, that trick. I mean, what's going into it? It almost to the naked eye, you're like, okay, not much, but no, it's there.
But that's because athletes like Christian make it look so easy. But in the past, Kong Gainer, which was just off of your feet, was one of the hardest moves. And now he's doing it off of his hands, casting off of his hips, basically just popping into the air and pushing himself forward. I mean, the technical logistics that have to go here, the physics that go into it. I mean, it's mind-boggling. It basically shouldn't work, but somehow these athletes do it. And athletes like Christian just stomp it out and make it look easy.
He's pushing string theory and quantum physics to the edge, definitely, with some of the stuff he's able to pull off. As we hand out final awards for our top 3 men here at Red Bull Art of Motion.
Well, I think it's great. You know, we see 2 of the athletes we had a lot of expectation for. Ed Scott out of UK and Archie Arroyan out of Russia. They ended up on that podium, but the one thing we didn't see almost this whole week was Christian Kowaleski training, because he was basically keeping it all to himself, saving himself for the actual run. And as a veteran competitor, he's allowed to do that, and it worked out.
And I think it's safe to assume, too, we know how competitive Ed Scott is with himself. Obviously happy with that finish, but he is going to come back so hot, so ready.
I mean, he's
been to almost to that top spot twice.
And of course, you know, athletes like Ed Scott, they're known for consistency. Every year he's on this podium. It's just one more time where all it takes is a slip up from somebody else and he's there. I mean, he stomps out that landing on his side pre. Maybe he's in the top spot. You know, Christian slips up on something maybe, but there's no maybes in this sport right now. There's only what just happened. Christian Kowaleski, your brand new Red Bull Art of Motion champion 2021.
And big congrats goes out to all of our competitors. A little extra nod of congratulations to Archie Arroyan grabbing 3rd place, Ed Scott in 2nd, and Christian Kowaleski, our 2021 Red Bull Art of Motion champion. All right. Well, we're not quite done here in Athens, Greece, as we've got an amazing pre-show, as we'll let Frosty make his way down to the melee and mayhem that is the port of Microlamano. It is going to be one party going into the late hours of the evening. But we'll continue with the interviews, the updates, and all the stories that have unfolded this week here in Athens, Greece. Another running of Red Bull Art of Motion. Such incredible camaraderie. The atmosphere has been electric this week. Watching all the athletes work together, figuring out their lines, and dealing with a very, very interesting canvas to paint on. Such progression in the sport of free running. And now a chance to enjoy the revelry here in Greece. You can see. Well, as you can see, the athletes taking full advantage of where the course is this year. Time to cool off as temperatures still in the sizzle mode in Athens. As defending champ, Didi Alawi showing his diving form. But as we mentioned, we've got an incredible post-show all ready to unleash and share more interviews, stories, as we check in with Kaz. Kaz, how is the atmosphere down dockside?
The battle, how epic has this been?